Maybe. I don't see it live yet.
It's like YouTube just decided to take a shit.
Yeah.
We must just kill that last stream. It's going to kill all of our viewership.
There we go. We're live again.
We're finally live again?
On YouTube, yeah.
Okay.
I don't see it.
Okay. But now we're not live on Twitch yet?
No, I see it.
I don't know about Twitch.
Twitch is still working on it. Goodness. All right, we're back.
We'll do like an intro again.
Hey!
Hello, everyone. Sorry about that. Our first stream, we're going to remove it entirely and start over.
That's right.
Which is fine because we know what our talking points are. Apologies about that. My computer in my office decided to download 106 or upload 106 like video files.
Yeah.
To back up, which is good normally, but it throttled all the bandwidth here in the house.
Yes.
So we were talking about economy,
and economy, and money, and getting 9 crossbows from kobolds. Yeah,
getting better internet from kobolds.
Getting better internet from kobolds, and then trying to go and sell them and becoming millionaire level 1, basically.
And the discussion was, how do you handle gold distribution and/or equipment, items, artifacts, crossbows to your players? And one of the discussion pieces we had was that it can be very difficult at a low level when you fight a bunch of bad guys, and they all have like heavy crossbows and plate mail, and all of a sudden you beat them all, and you've got access to all this plate mail and all these crossbows. And we all had a different point of view on how that can skew the party's gold pool, or can skew the party's ability to progress. You could go from level 4 to 5 with rags to riches by defeating the right bad guys. And how do you control that? We all had very interesting things to say. Mine was that I usually wrap the gold and stuff into the equipment you find, so you don't find the gear as an add-on, and then you roll and get a bag full of 100 gold plus all this plate mail. I say the 100 gold is wrapped into the cost of looting in general. So it's like you can open a pouch and grab 100 gold, or you can grab a crossbow and say you have sold it by hand waving just like the characters. We don't ever have the characters go to the bathroom in game. Like, so, oh, my character's gonna take a shit. I'll be back in 5 minutes. And you walk around the corner and you're role playing, sitting behind a tree, going to the bathroom. Like, you can, but I don't know people that do that.
I'd be lying if I said it hadn't happened in games that I've run.
It's never happened. And I guess the whole point is that when you go into a town, you assume that there's a little bit of upkeep in between the scenes of your stories, and that's what selling the gear would do.
Yeah, well, so that's the thing, right? Is the economy in universe it can be as detailed as you want it to be. There are certain things that are kept in consideration for balance purposes, like certain spell components and the cost of like full plate mail and everything. But if you wanted to say, like, I'm going to look for a merchant that sells belts of giant strength. And then you're like, okay, well, we can do some checks. Would the city even have somebody? Would they be legitimate? And then you can say, like, okay, you find one dude who's at a stall and he's selling it for 4,000, but that guy in the alleyway will sell it to you for 2,000.
Sure.
And then the player can be like, well, clearly there's something going on here. But then they can make that decision. But as Tommy's kind of saying, is like, you can also just say that all of that happened. And you can say, look, you all went and bought your stuff. You've sold. You managed to find enough shops to sell all the stuff you had. You've made your money. Then you used it, and you were able to find people. Like, we'll say you took like a week or whatever it is. You bought and sold everything you want. You're now all set. Let's continue the adventure. Yeah. Everybody has an opinion on like a shopping episode and whether or not they prefer to role play it or just let it be done on Discord or something like that.
Well, so when you're streaming, there's different rules.
Sure.
Right? So, like, that's a whole different thing. I refuse to hand wave too much because I think it takes away too much of the RP. If you just want to play a dungeon crawl, there are games that are dungeon crawls. If you want to play a TTRPG, in my opinion, hot take, people disagree with me, then, role play. You need to meet people in the town. You need to establish relationships. If towns are just a disposable thing that are in between the two dungeons,
it's a hand wavy thing, yeah.
Why are you playing D&D? What's the point? What are you doing with your charisma? What are you doing with your most of the sessions that I run for people, they inevitably start, developing a bit of fame and fortune within cities, and like the blacksmith will do custom stuff for them because their return customers.
There's more value to be had in the blacksmith being a blacksmith only because he has to pay his bills, and what he really wants to be is a modern sculpture artist where he welds metal scrap together to form interesting works of art.
Sure.
And he's just this, and you walk in, you're like looking at the art, he's like, can I interest you in any of my sculptures? You're like, actually, we were just looking to like sell some swords. He's like, all right,
sure,
come over here.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that's way more interesting than just being like, yeah, we sell our swords at blacksmith and we move on. You know, like you can definitely, there's definitely more going on there.
My players can invest in shopkeeps insofar as the more business they return to a given area, the more that person is willing to take.
It would be a lot of fun to, over the course of a campaign, if you keep going back to the same blacksmith.
Yeah,
you
come
like, back,
you got like 19 more crossbows?
You come back like halfway through the campaign and he's got like a franchise.
No, that's it. That is exactly how my work work. Yeah.
Well, I think that like you can hand wave the sales, you can create plausible NPC connections.
My favorite blacksmith on the Citadel.
But for me, it's if you find an item like that magical sword or something cool, that creates a MacGuffin. Like if you're gonna give someone something powerful, like the big sword that you're gonna do, whatever, that thing can be like it's coveted. If you have that, whoever you took it from, they might be chased or
sure.
You're walking around with this new item. Everyone's like, oh, who's that? Like it's almost a magnet.
Yeah.
For
attention.
For story. Yeah.
Well, and you also have to ask yourself how that person got it, right? Like the classic, oh, this person had full plate. Okay, so they're pretty wealthy. So you just offed somebody who was pretty wealthy, possibly well connected.
Also, plate mail shouldn't just be Nike. It's not
Right.
generically stamped. Every plate mail is the same.
That's right, yeah.
There's
Right.
a custom set of plate mail that, like even in A Knight's Tale, which is the
Yeah,
greatest
yeah.
movie of all time.
It's got their family crest on it.
Well, when he
Like-
came up, he's like, Sir Odoker or whatever his name was at the beginning when he pretended to be his knight.
Yeah.
Luckily for him, he had the lance on the face. He couldn't lift the helmet up, so he got the reward. Otherwise, they knew who he was based on his armor, right?
Yeah.
Like, you walk into a gaming convention with this shirt and my leather jacket, people are going to go, what did you do to Tom?
Yeah.
I shanked him and took his jacket.
This is the thing. Like the more there are things like crossbows that have a sell price that if you amass a bunch of them, you can sell them for a bunch of money. And to some degree, I'll allow that. Like if the players are just like, we're just gonna grind out some cash. If that's what they want to do, I'm not gonna stand in their way. But at the same time, I will make the economy react to that.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, you've now tried to sell 50 crossbows to this guy in the last week.
Guards?
He doesn't want crossbows anymore.
It's that old joke of like, the dirt farmer who's just scragged enough to
Yeah.
feed his family, and then you come up and you sell him like the skull of Abazul, and
Yeah.
he gives you like 10,000 gold. He's like,
Come on
that's
now.
my life savings.
Yeah.
And the guards come and just take it from him?
Yeah.
But
But then he just gets mugged in the street, and they're like, I'll take that. And he's just like, I have nothing.
But yeah, for more expensive stuff, like the big question is, how did they get it in the first place? And don't get me wrong, as a DM, I let players have stuff that is not, this goblin stole it and has been cherishing it for 5 years, and chances are the original owner doesn't actually know anything about it anymore, and it's fine, you can take it and there won't be any ramifications. But if you go and, lay waste to a bunch of people who are wearing, plate armor and +1 swords and
The
stuff,
crest
it's
of
like,
the eagle on it. And, yeah.
I think you just made some enemies.
It's kind of that idea too of like, okay, if the shop is selling a +1 sword and they have a nice display for it,
Yeah.
you should assume they have security. Because
Sure.
like they're not, you can't just be like, I'm just gonna grab it when he's not looking. I'm like, I'm sorry, he's not leaving a magical sword just out there for anyone to
This
take.
raises another interesting point. Read the room. So it's like read the enemies you're facing. If you're getting waylaid by brigands on the side of the road, odds are they're not going to be laced with heavy crossbows and plate mail.
Yes.
There
Right.
are other more creative ways to give them the armor classes and the damage types that
Yes.
they need by using tree trunks and hide.
high dex.
Useless, disgusting armor, high dex, whatever. Right?
Absolutely.
Like, those things are the things that people don't realize. Oh, well, I want these guys to be really hard to hit, so plate mail. And then you're like, oh, well, what's going to happen after they kill those guys?
Yeah.
And you have
Well,
5 suits of plate mail.
that's the thing, yeah.
And also, if these guys are jacking merchants because they're broke and want money, Why are they wearing plate mail?
Well,
why do they have pristine heavy
the only
crossbows?
way you could do that is you do the exact same thing where you say, oh, you see a group of soldiers come out to you, and the only thing you notice that's strange is they're all wearing different crests, and they seem to not quite fit their armor.
Sure,
you could do
Yeah,
something
but
like
that
that.
would be like you have to read the room there. It's
Well,
like
that's what I'm
assessing,
saying, yeah.
well, they all got plate. They all look, they
like
fight these guys, you're gonna lose. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
these are bandits who perhaps are quite good at their job.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, but you're exactly right. And there's also things where it's like, yes, they have a crossbow, but it's shoddy, right? Like, you can use it, but nobody's going to buy that from you.
Yeah, it's like a rusted, half-broken
It's
crossbow.
smothered in cottage cheese that's too old, right? Like, they don't want it.
Hello, Fitzbill. Thank you for grabbing the Legacy of Mana book.
Nice.
Hopefully you would also be interested in our next one, the Pillars of Power, which is a full-on secondary addition to that. Keep an eye out on that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's sort of where I stand on it. Is like, I just pay attention to how much money I'm giving people and whether it makes sense. Because I think that's the other thing. As a DM, you are far more responsible for making the world engaging than the players are. It's their job to engage with the things that they want, but you have to be the one to frame the world in an engaging way.
Yeah.
If you're raining equipment around them and everyone but them seems to be able to get these crazy powerful items, but they have to fight tooth and nail for it, it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, when you get to the point where it's like, because this is the Skyrim problem, where like when you get powerful enough in Skyrim, you're fighting bandits wearing like dragon plate, and you're like, where did he get that? And it's like,
why
well,
is he a
no, it's
bandit?
it's because the game is scaling the difficulty for you to make things
And in a
challenging.
video game,
In a video game, it's just a fun thing, but
It's
like
just a mechanic.
in D&D, it's like, no, you need to wonder like, what if I'm playing a game of D&D and you describe the bandit as wearing plate armor made from dragon bone, I'm gonna be like, well, this is a guy. This is not a bandit.
No,
this is
a lord.
This is like he's like some kind of conqueror.
Yeah.
And that's not a bandit army. That's like an actual army.
is an army.
And I need to get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's got like wizards and stuff. I need to leave.
100%.
Probably got like a pet dragon back there. I don't want to mess with this guy.
Right.
You know, as the read the room thing that Tommy's talking about.
Yeah.
You know, if the DM describes the villain as wearing a suit made of dragon hide,
You can
maybe
bet
keep
that-
your sword sheathed and just
Yeah.
like be like, hey, what do you?
See, that's one of the things
looking
about
for?
D&D that I found so like, and this isn't me going like grognard here, but this is one of the things about modern D&D that's difficult is that everything is just so superhero, and nobody has fear. Egos and shit get in the way so quick. Personal egos get in the way so quickly in game that it would be like, and I'm guilty of this too. It would be like, you know, when you see that dragon suit armor character, and they're giving you that opposition in game. Let's go, and like, you know, you just like throw down, and you think, well, I got this, right? Because there's no fear anymore, and it's very hard to get your ass kicked in 5e. In 5.5e, even more so.
Fitzbill, we don't have STLs, but we do have a cool spellbook prop that was on the Kickstarter, which is a bunch of different. We'll deal with that in a minute. There was a bunch of different
Knew that was gonna
spells.
happen.
Yeah, all the different spells in this very awesome kind of bound book. So there's a few things here and there that you can find if you go looking. Yeah, the thing about that to me is I very much agree with you. I find that I want my players to be afraid of mind flayers, right? It's always my go-to, because at a certain level, when the GM describes a mind flayer, at a certain power level, the players are like, okay, cool, it's a mind flayer. And you're like, no, you should be like terrified. This is this horrible eldritch thing that could just kill you and devour your brain. They're like, well, no, my saves are like plus 12. I'm good. You know?
I mean, we had this issue, myself included, in Legacy of Worlds, when we were so level 20 that there was just like no fear. The only time the fight
There were
was...
two times you
There
had
were
fear.
2 or 3 times in the entire game, the three seasons, where you saw a player who was, you know, all of us were pretty cocky and arrogant. A lot. Because we're level 20, we are the McGoverns, we're plot armored, all this crap. So we just get cocky in game. We just like, no problem, I'll take them on. But there were 3 specific times that happened where I was like, oh, the final fight.
Yep.
Which I never really felt the fear. I was like,
You knew that
someone else did.
Yeah, somebody felt fear, but I think you at least knew like we can't mess around here.
You
Like,
just we can't fart around.
We need to take this seriously.
No spoilers given, but when I, as a player, strategically remove myself from the fight for a minute, knowing that there's no way I can just power through this, that's a serious conversation.
Yeah.
But the other two times, I think they were season 1 and the episode before in season 3. So season 2 there was no fear, but season 1 there was the one where we saw Gygax get compromised.
Yep.
When the Chartelon ripped a breath weapon on everyone. It's just like that can't happen again. And the second one is spoiler alert, season 3 coming up, where one of the players at the table was fine until they weren't.
So the problem that you were just describing, in my opinion, and again, people aren't going to like this because I don't like D&D before level 3. Stop leveling people up so damn fast. You should be level 1 for like 3 weeks, at least 4 or 5, a month, a year.
Well, leveling up slowly does a lot of things. One, it allows us to develop the character.
Yeah.
And it puts gravity on the character's persona,
Yeah.
so that as it goes further in, when the stakes get raised, you are raising with the stakes, as opposed to this weird mental zeitgeist of, did we gain a level? Did we gain a level? Did we gain a level? Just to get more powerful, more items, more whatever.
Yep.
And then not realize that, well, the game is leveling with you. It's just like, it's one thing I always found when I was playing JRPGs and stuff like that on the Nintendo. It's like, oh, I gained a level. Oh yeah, I have these new spells. But then I'm like, oh wait, when it goes,
This is the thing.
The next thing we fight is gonna be even harder.
This is the thing that always annoyed me. Like World of Warcraft was really bad for this, where I'm like, I am a level 80 hero who has slain the elemental lord of fire, dragon gods. I have slaughtered, legions of orcs, and I have single-handedly defeated an eldritch being from beyond the stars. We better watch out for that wolf, though, because that wolf is level 80.
Yeah.
And it's like that just shouldn't be the thing. Like it's weird. It feels weird to have that kind of.
But you're talking about a video game where they have a limited map. They have to play games like that.
I understand, and also like the level is abstract in those games. It's like it doesn't really mean anything,
But in D&D, you are literally in an infinite world, right?
Yeah.
Like there is no excuse for doing that in D&D because it is an infinite world. So, it's. I think too many players play the game like they would something else, and they're just trying to grind levels. And then they get disappointed when the big bads aren't actually that big bad. Now, to each their own. Lots of people love level grinding, and they're fine. They want to grind out an entire D&D campaign in, a month or 2 months or whatever. That's fine. To each their own. Everybody is more than permitted to play the way they want. But if you want the stakes to feel like it's more visceral, the first thing you do is you start at level 1, and you stay there for a little while, and you will realize that, like, oh, these 5 skeletons just about handed us our asses on a platter.
Whereas level scaling, I do think it is annoying. There are definitely things like Adrian's saying, like, you do want to feel powerful when you're supposed to be powerful. Like if you're level 10, you should actually feel like you're level 10. And you should your threat level, the things you're fighting should match that. Like the idea that, oh, I buffed the guards of this town up so they could take on a group of level 10 adventurers. You're like, holy cow, what are these guards eating for breakfast?
Right.
It's more like if you're level 10, those town guards, you don't even care. You're fighting like a demon lord at that point.
Yeah.
You're on another plane. Like you're busy. That's so beneath you.
This is the thing.
And so like when I say I want my players to fear a mind flayer, what I'm kind of meaning by that is, in a world where things are treated realistically, if you are a person, you are a very mortal person, you have some decent magical protection. You've got maybe a magic sword, you got maybe an amulet, you've got some decent full plate armor. You're well equipped, and this thing comes in that can literally just shut down your brain with a thought and then consume your mind. Walks into the room. You may have fought a lot of kobolds and goblins and creatures, and maybe even faced off against ogres and whatever else. But I'm like, there should never be a world where you're like, what a weakling! Let's kill this guy.
See, I disagree. Because a lot of, like a level 10 character, for instance, could murder an entire town.
Yeah, but I have a problem with that.
They shouldn't. They're level 10.
Yes.
They're tantamount to a god. They shouldn't be afraid of many things.
Well,
If you're running it in that way, yes.
I'm in the wedge between you guys on this one. I agree with the idea that level 10 should be considered with a little more respect, but I also disagree with the fact that they should be able to murder a town, because there's still economy of scale. Like, you are a big fella, but I'm telling you, a number of grade 9s around you will eventually take you down. You cannot take enough damage. You cannot sustain enough to fight that many people.
But I don't have magic.
Sure, but if you play the game right, magic is a casting time, and casting times are taken advantage of. But,
magic items don't, but yes.
But the reality is, in my opinion, is that, like, if you're going to go to a local hamlet, yeah, you should be able to wipe the hamlet out, no problem. If you're going to go to a town, yeah, you should be able to make a mark to the town. But these places also should be built in an atmosphere where they have protections against adventurers that are like this. So they should have some measure of defenses, even though it might not be victorious, but they should have some measure of defenses.
My go-to for this... Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I was going to say, but the more important thing about the fear of the mind flayers, I want to get that point out, is that, like, in reality, I know enough about bears and wolves that I got a basic knowledge as to how they are. I feel like I'm not a weakling or someone that could stand against a good fight or whatever in reality, but I never want to be in a fight. I've never been in a fight. I don't want to get into those situations. If a bear is coming at me, I know I can handle myself in a lot of situations, but I do not know enough about that thing to disrespect its potential.
There's no winning against a bear.
I was going to say, yeah. I mean, bears are...
But continue.
Bears are monsters.
As an example. But even like a moose or like a... Even like a couple of rabid raccoons, I don't want to mess with these things. You know what I mean? Like, you sure, if a raccoon's coming at me, if it comes between life or death, I'm going to beat that raccoon up. But I'm not going to come out clean, you know? So as a level 10, level 12, level 15 fighter or wizard or character, if a mind flayer walks in the room, I can metagame the crap out of that and go, well, according to the statistics of the challenge rating and the AC and the hit points, I should be able to dispatch this thing in 3 rounds. That's metagaming. In character, has my character experienced this? Is my character no? If I'm a hunter of aberrations, I'm excited about trying this challenge. If I'm a dude that's been fighting orcs all my life and this thing walks in the room, I should roleplay this. And if I don't, that's your style of game.
Yeah.
Play the game like Kyle, mechanic the shit out of it, and I can beat it. I'm level 14, therefore I should beat it in 3 rounds. Like, if you want to do that, do it. That's not my style of game, though. I think a lot of people forget that there should be that level of role playing, right? Which is why Legacy Worlds was so difficult, because the things that when we fought mind flayers and ran into things, we're like, no problem. It took gods for us to think, people that were literally breaking the rules of the game for us to think of that. But when I played the Keymaster, even a fish in some weird water that's not going through the hallway properly is making me freak the frack out,
Sure.
So anyway,
I mean, my stance is that 99.99999% of all D&D characters have never heard of a mind flayer, anyways, so they wouldn't be afraid of one.
That's right.
So
yeah, off the top, depending on the specific.
So they wouldn't be afraid of one.
Wouldn't be. Why would they?
They wouldn't know.
They don't know what it is. They wouldn't know that it's special. They wouldn't know that it can kill you.
You would have to.
But if a dude walks in the room with all these squid tentacles floating toward you, or Paul walks in the room,
but if you've just been fighting an elder dragon, you're not going to be more scared of that, right?
I mean,
it depends. I do think there's. Yeah, I think it depends on its entrance.
There is also the respect of old school D&D, where if you are level 10, to get to level 10, you can't be careless.
Well, I think that's kind of the thing, right?
So even though you see it, and you're not scared. There's a difference between being like, "Oh my God, what's that?" and "What is that?"
I think
that's drawn.
I think that applies to what Adrian's saying, though, which is that, like, because your point is you want them to earn those levels. You want it to take time. They want to survive. Yeah. So in your play style, a level 10 hero absolutely is like, okay, that's a creature we should be careful around, but I'm not terrified of it because the things they had to achieve to get where they are means
that I understand
that they are worthy of taking it on. Where I do have a bit of an issue is I'm like a naked level 20 fighter could run into a goblin den and kill them all with his bare fists.
But I think
without
that's
dying.
Fine because there is no real world equivalent to a level 20 fighter.
Well, that's kind of what I'm saying is like,
right?
what is that?
I mean, if Mike Tyson walked out into a schoolyard, every single child is dead.
Well, this is the thing.
There are certainly arguments you can make.
And to be clear, Mike Tyson is like a level 2 fighter.
Oh, I mean, okay. We're talking about, we're trying to find the real world equivalents to a degree. Obviously, obviously, Mike Tyson.
When people say like, "Oh, a level 10 couldn't wipe it out town," it's like, yes, they absolutely could.
But that's kind of my point. Is like what this is why I like to say that when you start getting to like level 6 to 7, you've kind of like reached peak mortality. You need like supernatural elements to start getting up. So
I agree.
With that in mind, a level 10 hero absolutely can take out a town.
Well, I guess with this argument, we're talking about ability scores too, where like ability scores in real world, nobody's sitting at a 20.
Not even close.
Well, there's a negative 20.
Wow. Like
it's a couple of those.
Like, when you say like they should be afraid of a mind flayer, it's like sure, like to some degree I agree with what you're saying. On the other hand, we are talking about the player character itself is a being of ridiculous power.
Yeah, I guess what I'm saying is like, it's kind of what Tommy was saying of like the cocksure attitude.
Sure. Well, that
we are going to charge into the fray with no knowledge of what we're facing, because we're assuming the DM is throwing a balanced encounter at us, so we can definitely take it.
Well, look, if your players aren't scared of the occasional combat, you're not being mean enough.
This is what I was going to say. I train my players very quickly that if I describe a goblin and a single goblin's in that room, they're going to be like, okay, hold up.
Wait a second.
Wait a minute.
Let's look at chat. So we've called a few things out, but we're also talking about Morrowind being great for not having level scaling.
Morrowind is so good.
Morrowind is great. And it's cool that they.
I would love to see a remake of Morrowind now that they've done Oblivion, because Morrowind is actually, I think, like the last great.
I think they're going
Elder Scrolls.
Yeah. I also love the idea of player characters having their own lives when you're not playing, so they continue and they're like, "What did I do?"
Every session is just them being so blackout drunk, and then they wake up like, "What happened? Where are we? What's going on? Why are there bodies everywhere?"
Space Phoenix, welcome on Twitch, and yes, the Arctic bears especially are horrifying.
Well, this actually kind of ties in, as I'm like, there are a lot of creatures just on Earth that like a dude in like a suit of armor with a sword would have some difficulty with, like a bear, a freaking honey badger, like those things are bulletproof.
This is
like,
kind of my point when we talk about like level characters. Is like a level 1 character in D&D, maybe not level 1, but a level 2 character in D&D stands a chance against a bear. Maybe even a level 1, but definitely a level 2.
In D&D mechanic standards,
there are no humans where that's true. Like, maybe with the right equipment, but like that is already at level 2. You're talking about somebody who would be the most powerful human being on Earth. Yeah. So when you're talking about like up levels, it's like, I mean, of course they're fighting spectral beasts and stuff and not really thinking twice about it, because like think about who they are.
It's also like you think about what a dragon is. And like if that thing existed in real life, it'd be like, I'm good. I'm good. I don't need to fight a creature that can breathe napalm.
Also fair. Also fair.
Like
that thing there on the rules encyclopedia, chasing the dude on the horse. Like he doesn't have a chance.
This is did you ever see the first 5 seconds of Vox Machina?
Yeah.
It's that.
So incidentally, one of the blacksmiths that the players befriended in the town was exactly that. He was a level 12, but there was no evidence of him being level 12, because he was done with adventuring. He was just chilling. He just liked building stuff. And then one day a dragon attacked, and he came to help them out because they were only level 5. And they were like, oh, but because they were friends with him, it was cool. If they hadn't been friends with him, he might have just left and let them die.
Yeah, that's always the trope, right? It's like never tick off the shopkeeper. They're always like level 20 adventurers, retired or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who else run that?
Yeah. In the middle of nowhere in a monster-infested wilderness.
Space Phoenix says if you've been through 10 levels, you might be barehanded, but you got to feel like you worked snuff on yourself.
But I think that's the best way. Is like if you worked really hard to hit level 10. And you want to run into the Kobold Den naked and punch them all to death, you did earn it.
Yeah,
if you're handing out level ups like candy, it does sort of.
This is also like, what is your game for you?
Yes.
If you want to run in and do that,
absolutely,
I'm all in, right? It's just like I don't penalize people for the food preferences they have. Sexual preferences they.
Obviously, if you like just raffle stomping your way through all your enemies. And,
I mean,
I mean, look, I crave for that in game. Like, I love when, you know, we're mixing it up with some brigands, and like the game is like yanking people off rooftops and blasting them to death. Doesn't happen, but you know, I like that kind of stuff. I love those fights, but then I also like those grueling fights when it's actually like there's something that's necessary. Like, we're fighting this 15-headed Hydra, and it's a harrowing, brutal fight. Like, I like those fights.
Yep.
But I also like it, like, not every fight has to be a harrowing, brutal fight.
I agree.
It can be a cakewalk. Like,
Yeah.
you can have a bunch of guys in a bar be like, you want to go me? And we end it in 3 rounds.
I
You know
think
what I mean?
that's incredibly important as
right.
a DM, is to allow for your characters to have those moments.
It's important to like where Alice was saying earlier, like to let them feel powerful, let
Yeah.
them feel like
Yeah.
they've gained power.
Yeah.
You know, in level 1, have like some bully try to stomp on them in the tavern, have it be a harrowing fight, and then let them come back when they're level 5 and have that same guy be like, "Oh, how dare you return?" And they're like, "Okay."
Yeah.
But it's like,
You know,
it's like,
and you get that satisfaction.
even with the Goon Squad that we play on Saturday nights with our old OG gang, like, there's a couple fights there where, you know, we were pretty arrogant, but like we fought that NPC party and we cakewalked them because we just got the drop and we knew what we were doing.
Yeah.
But then like we're like, oh, we got this, right? Then all of a sudden we're fighting like something small and it's kicking the shit out of us because it's just like, how do we figure? Like, you know, characters are almost dying, or one wizard gets the drop on us and we're effed, right? Like we're trying to run back through paintings and almost lost the character in the process. But
Yeah.
it's like, but meanwhile we're fighting the equal level NPCs and we're just raffle stopping them just because we got the drop. So it's good to have those.
Yeah, there was a
feelings.
scenario that I ran at one point because I wanted my character. It was when we first started playing D&D. It was after maybe a month or 2, probably more than that, where they were up to like level 3, and they had started to actually learn how to play, and a couple of them wanted to like tweak their classes and stuff. So I ran them through a dungeon that had like basically a font of reclassing, essentially, is what it was. But it was guarded by a troll, and they're only level 3. And so like
Troll's a fight, yeah.
This is like a fight.
Yeah.
But I watered it down by the fact that the troll couldn't get through the entrance. So it couldn't directly get at them, and they were able to like harass it and everything. It's still regenerating,
I
right?
mean, yeah.
So like it's still a harrowing fight. And then later on, many levels later, I ran some of the same groups through the same dungeon. They were like level 8 now, but I didn't change anything, and they were just like, few turns, troll's dead, they move in. It's like done, no problem at all.
I like spinning encounters on their heads. Like,
Yeah.
I love it when the party, and I do this specifically, I try not to play with metagamers, but I do it with metagamers at my tables, people that just are like, oh, that's a level X.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I've seen you do this lately too. I will just modify it slightly so that the weaknesses that they metagame toward do not exist. One of the classic examples that I was taught early in my D&D DMing career was a classic fight against trolls. And when you're talking about the troll actually sparked this.
Yeah.
Fighting a couple of trolls under a bridge is pretty standard affair. But if the bridge had trolls put there and are being paid for by a very powerful wizard who wants to have control over that territory, the wizard could be giving them daily, if not weekly, doses of fireproof and acid-proof
you
potions,
would, yes.
right? So you get resistance. So suddenly you're like, it's a troll, got it, you know, fireball. And the trolls just come walking through it without fear and stuff like that. And they're like,
Hang on.
and then they come up and just snap your neck, right?
Quick
It's like,
rethink.
Yeah, quick rethink. I love doing stuff like that because then they go, oh, it doesn't make any sense. And you're like, I know.
You can do a lot of fun things with trolls. You can have like a troll just rip its own arm off and throw it at the enemy, and then it grows into a new troll. They're like, ah!
So there was a player who would not stop abusing the enlarge spell because like I'm sure everybody's had the
Austin?
Was it
player.
Sam?
No, it was none of the. So
Sam and Austin?
I have had people in that you guys know do this too, but it was in a different scenario, so just kind of let it go. But I had a player separately who would do like I throw a pebble and then I enlarge it, and it becomes a boulder and everything. It's like great. The other side has a guy who can cast enlarge, and he just enlarged the pouch that you have full of little boulders. You're dead. And he was like, well, I'm gonna make saves, and I'm like, well, you need to make 5. Because they just cast it on all of your things. Well, and it's like, by all means, he failed horribly, took like, I don't know, something like 170 fall, or like crush damage, and just instantly dead, and he had to make a new character. I'm like, don't fucking metagame.
Yeah, metagaming is getting harder and harder to offset.
Yeah.
Because it's like, when you've played D&D as long as like we have, this is why I don't read the Monsters Manual, right? Like, you and Adam are hilarious to watch.
Well, to be fair, I have to.
Yes.
Yes.
With respect, you and Adam, when you play D&D, Adam is very, very like,
He knows every monster.
Like, he knows every
Yeah.
stat, everything. He knows when he rolls the dice what the percentage of calculated he needs to roll, like Thaco style, to get the damn thing. I don't know shit. I can't tell you anything about anything. Like,
Yeah.
ask me about a monster.
What's the AC of a mimic?
Don't even know how a mimic works.
Right. There you go. Yeah.
I don't even know how it works. I know that it's a creature that has a really good hide or
Yeah,
stealth or
it sure
whatever it
does,
is.
yeah.
It's a really high stealth. Passive perception is hard to defeat it, and it can appear as an object. Can it be detected by magic?
Not really.
Yeah. See, I don't know
Yeah.
these details. So if I were to throw a mimic against the party, I on the spot am learning with the party,
Yep.
and then for some reason it just goes flushed. It's gone. I can't even tell you what a zombie is right now. Oh,
Well,
wait, I can.
you know they're undead fortitude because of that one episode of Deadly Dungeon.
Yes.
That
sorry,
will never be removed from your brain.
Sorry, I do know that they get back up unless they make some sort of check, which
Yeah.
I don't even know.
You don't know
It's a
how it works, but
constitution
you
check?
know that it's a thing.
It's a con
Constitution,
check that
yeah.
modifies it.
And I know that they have a very low AC.
Yeah, they're easy to kill. Well, they're easy to
to hit.
down.
Yeah.
Impossible to kill.
Exactly. So the point is that I've been playing D&D and I've been DMing since 1991. It's like, and I used to go back in the day with the Thacos and shit, but it's like I cannot tell you what these monsters are, and I purposely memory dump it because
Yeah.
I don't want to know to metagame.
Yeah.
But somehow when it happens, I always seem to know.
That was fun about Legacy of Worlds too, though, because like Ed Greenwood does that thing where Elise took one step. Elise's character took one step on some moss, and I was like, "Can you make an intelligence save?" He's like, "Ooh, is this a Obliviex?" I was like,
And you're like, "Shush you."
I was like, "Shush you! Come on!" And then he rolled his 32 nature check, and he was like,
I've almost murdered Austin a couple of times in Deadliest Dungeon because I'll be talking about something. He's like, "Oh, you must be gonna cast this," and I'm like, "Shut the fuck up!"
Because you want to also surprise the
Yeah.
DM sometime,
I'm like,
right?
I don't want
Oh, it makes no sense you're going to cast that spell. It's a good time to cast it. Meanwhile, he's just like, oh, okay, let me just modify everything.
Yeah,
later. It's also hard for a DM to not metagame.
But it was fun in Legacy of Worlds where I could start describing something, and you can see Ed going through the Rolodex
Yeah,
in his
yeah,
head,
yeah.
and he's like, "Wait a minute, I don't know what this is," and I'm
Yeah.
like, "That's right, you don't."
I will say though, because I made it sound like metagaming is like the worst thing ever, and I think that it ruins a lot of games. Personally, I think that, but it's not that I won't ever let somebody like take advantage of mechanics. It's just when it becomes the habit, that's when I have a problem with it. Like if somebody does the boulder trick with enlarge once, cool. When it becomes their go-to attack, I'm like, no, we're nipping this in the butt right now.
I mean, metagaming in and of itself is not a bad thing because arguably the social contract of work
Yeah.
together, do like that's metagaming. You might be doing things that ordinarily your character wouldn't make sense because you're trying to do something for the game's sake.
Yeah.
I always use trolls. The trolls are the greatest example because like basically everybody knows that trolls regenerate unless they take fire or acid. Like anybody who's played the game for a reasonable amount of time,
Which to be
understands
fair,
that.
I think there's enough. I think there are things that you can attribute to legend, and it's okay.
Well,
continue.
but that's kind of where you get it to it, right? It's like you have to understand. You have to decide if your character knows
Exactly.
and it is very hard to know for a fact that troll is not going to die unless you hit it with fire or acid, and play dumb and ignorant and be like, I stab it with my sword and do 9 damage. You're like, guys, I think I got it. And then watching it,
Oh,
feels
see,
like,
I have no problem doing that.
Some people find it very difficult.
Yeah.
I find it difficult if only because it's like I know what's going to happen. It's not. I don't find it interesting because I'm like, I can do it as a character bit and I will, but I already know that the next 2 rounds are going to be my character learning about trolls and then moving on. And if I have to do that for every single character I ever play, eventually it gets old.
Oh, but they all have different reactions. to
That's
it.
the key, right?
It's
The
so much
key
fun.
is to try to differentiate it through your characters. But I can understand why some people might just be like, look, I feel like we've heard about trolls. Trolls are like, often talked about thing. But the fun thing about that is you can create folklore for certain monsters. It's not true.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I will also tell people who have a tendency to like, I know all the monsters. I'm like, then make damn sure you have expertise in survival. or nature or something of that nature. Because like, if you're gonna say, "Oh, I know this about this monster," why? Why does your character know that?
That's important.
Yeah.
If they study nature and survival, okay, all right, I'll buy it.
Yeah, if your character is a Darin lizard's bane, and you're like, I know this about this lizard, I'm like, yeah, you probably do actually.
Fair.
But if it's like, I know all about that insect, I'm like, why? It's like, well, it is a parasite of lizards.
Yeah.
Is it? Oh, it is. Yeah, okay, fair enough. You know.
Yeah.
Or it's like, no, you wouldn't know anything about this fiery beast because you're a lizard slayer.
I actually find it kind of fun to metagame against metagaming.
Sure.
Like to purposely make decisions
Yeah.
that you know that it's going to cause problems, but Sam is usually really good at this, especially in Deadliest Dungeon.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
for me, I look at it like the game is interesting. He's a mechanist. Excuse me. The only connection he has to magic is that he's an Alassian elf, and that he comes from Alassia, Lunalia, which is magic, but he's not a magical creature. So whenever we're in the game and I'm doing anything druidic or looking at the tree and I don't know what the hell's going on with this stuff, I don't understand it, I don't understand the magic use of things, I can't go against it. Same with the time stuff. I have no idea what's going on with chronomancy. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And even the Eltherian stuff, I have no idea. But
Yeah.
if it comes to
Yeah.
mechanical contraptions, traps,
Yeah. Yeah.
I
You
feel
know,
like I've got this. Let's go.
So
I mean, yeah, we try to do that. It's like, I can describe, for example, the character, the NPC is doing some sort of secret signal, and everyone at the table can maybe recognize that something's going on. But it's only really going to be Imus who's going to actually clock it because
Sure.
his character would know that information.
So a handful of things on chat that I want to take a look at. So Space Phoenix, yes, the Austin also does the inspiration thing way too often. He's getting better though. They're like, oh, you could use inspiration on that, and then the DM's like, I'm gonna inspiration on that. We've fixed that anyways, so it's not a problem anymore. But William Dangler asks, and I'm gonna go in reverse order here. William Dangler asks, I talked about running a party that made it to level 8. How long did that take? I don't know from level 4 to level 8, but it was a total of about 4.5 years, that campaign.
That's too long. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, lots of fun.
I'm kidding.
There were a couple of character deaths in there, too.
Actually, I
for the record.
appreciate that. But
Is acting out the rules more important to you than acting between the rules? There's time for both.
it depends on where, actually. On
Yeah.
stage, explicitly outside of the rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and stream, too.
On
Like,
stream,
I think it's a bit more 50-50.
there's time for
yeah.
both, yeah.
in home play, almost exclusively.
Yeah.
We break the we don't break the rules. In home play, like when we play with the gang and we're playing, for ourselves, eating Taco Bell at the round table. We're breaking all the nut rules with all the Ferrero Rochers that Jesse brings. When we play, we break rules. We bend them pretty hard.
You bend them. I don't think you break them, but we do bend them.
Like Jesse caught Banquo
I was literally thinking of that
on a
exact situation.
rooftop because the dice told it.
Because they were making stealth checks to sneak onto a rooftop with a Pegasus, and I'm like, a Pegasus has hooves? How is it landing on the roof silently? And so then Jesse playing the Barbarian says, "Will I catch it and set it down?" And I'm like,
And like a benevolent DM that he is, he goes, "All right, roll."
I'm
He
like,
rolled like a 20
rolling
or something.
athletics. He got like a natural 20. I'm like, all right, fine. You catch the Pegasus
So
and
Lowell
gently
on
set
a
it down.
Pegasus is coming in, trying to do a soft landing, and all of a sudden the Pegasus just stops, and Lowell's like, "What?" And then
Just sets it down.
That's
Epic. I love that.
while balancing on a rooftop. It was.
But
just
it's like, and I'm like, it was one of those scenes where I'm like, the image in my head is so great. I need this to happen.
That's
like
so
I just,
good.
yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Or it was kind
Jesse.
of like when that spider creature had restrained him from the ceiling, and we were like, well, how is he physically able to do the thing he's doing? And so we're like, well, he just grabs it and pulls it to the ground.
That's awesome.
Like that Bugs Bunny cartoon.
A few other things. Tales from a Professional Herd. That's what it is.
hey, Brian.
So said, not some of us do dumb stuff in character on purpose. Absolutely true.
Oh, yeah.
A quick check against passive arcana or passive nature is where you can hand out that info. Agreed. Yeah, 100%. there's things that characters would know, things that they
Yeah,
wouldn't.
I often like to resort to backstories, or if they have like proficiency in a skill. Like obviously with the game, if it's like a mechanical thing, I'm like, I mean, you know how this works. Like it's mechanical.
Or with a quick
or with a quick check.
moment of checking it out.
The DC will be fairly low. It'll be like, you probably know this. If like Sayval wants to understand how a mechanism works, I might be like, cool, make an intelligence check. The DC is gonna be like 20 something. Whereas if the game looks at it, it'll be like, I don't know, man. As long as you don't get a 1, you probably can figure it out.
Whereas if she's like talking to plants, I'm like, what?
Right, and vice versa, right?
Something that I have talked about before, not in this iteration of the podcast, but definitely I've talked about it on stream before. One of the things that I do as a DM is I hand out modifiers to in between levels, because I do want progression. I don't want hard levels nearly as often as most DMs do.
Interesting.
But if somebody's like, I'm going to spend downtime like reading up on monsters, local monsters, I will give them a permanent +1, maybe +2 check against things like, do I know about this? Well, sure, you've spent 3 weeks in the library. You probably do. So
like
stuff
a
like that.
+5 or something, yeah.
Well, it depends how long they spend and everything else. Same with things like when people are like, we're going to be in this town for a while. I'm going to start holding local merchants meetings. It's like, cool, you're going to get better prices in this town.
Yep.
Like stuff like that.
Yeah, I love that kind of stuff.
That's like world building and character building together.
Yep.
Yeah, that's how I prefer to progress games, is like make levels sparse. Now again...
No, you take the statistic, +1 across the board, you slay all the monsters.
That's right.
You take the ASI every time.
Obviously, to each their own. If I'm playing with players that explicitly don't want to play that way, like, I'm malleable, that's fine. But in general, I have always found it to be way more rewarding to actually have your character get better at something because your character was doing something, rather than just like, yeah, the group killed this monster and then I woke up more powerful. It's like, yeah, fine, but really? That's weird.
Yeah, absolutely.
It happens, of course, over time, but it's like, to me, that's like the long-term improvement. Whereas, within that 4.5 years, they had set up an entire wizard tower. They had like tripled the population of a town. They had created an entire thieves guild within the town. They had people like doing all kinds of things for them, but they were only level 8. But at the same time, the next highest level person in that entire town, except the blacksmith, which was an outlier, was a level 3. And that was like the mayor.
So that's actually pretty standard in like baked into the history. The Knights of Myth Draenor, which is Forgotten Realms lore, they are Ed's original adventuring party.
Yeah.
The Knights of Myth Draenor, most famous adventuring heroes and greatest knights of all the realms, are level 7.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, old school level 7 is like new school level 20.
True, but it is often said that they would go months of gameplay without ever drawing their swords.
Yeah.
Like they would just always find ways around the issue. And because back in the day the only way to gain experience was to kill things, they just didn't level up.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
But at the same time, the group of, when they were, I think it was when they were level 6. It was in the latter half of the campaign for sure. They needed to take out a swarm of orcs, like basically a small army of orcs.
Horde.
They didn't have a chance on their own, but fortunately they had lots of friends to call on. Mm-hmm. So it became a battle instead of a fight.
My favorite thing is always,
it was way more interesting.
This town is going to be under attack. You can recruit any of the friends you've made along the way. They're like, yeah, but they might die though.
Wow.
You're like,
there's that.
Well, yeah. They're like, well, I don't want any of these characters to die. Then it's like, okay, you and you can come with us. You're like, oh, okay, I guess you don't like those guys.
That's right. I have always leaned much more heavily into just you gain benefits by RPing far faster than you gain benefit. Now, I will also, I know in the old school it was like explicitly you kill things to get experience. I definitely don't do that.
Oh, I don't do that either,
the modern rules don't do that either. But like, yeah, if you defuse a situation without drawing a sword,
that should be XP worthy. It's totally XP worthy.
If you completed the encounter, you get the experience for it.
Yep. That includes running away from it. If you recognize that it's deadlier than you should be able to handle, and you retreat or you avoid it.
Yep.
If you diffuse it through bribing, conversation, using a third-party element in there. You know, it's like, oh, you piss off we can't take these guys on. Local guards after them. The local guards are now entangled with them, and you've defeated it. That's a defeat.
However you solve the encounter,
it's not just
you should get the
roll
experience
d20s and see what happens next.
Yeah.
Yep. 100%. Yeah. So, anyways, all of that to say, I am frankly of the opinion that D&D basically ends around level 9, because after that point you become so powerful, the world stops having meaning. Now you can still play.
You go to the planes.
Yeah, you can still do other stuff, but it's like you're no longer.
This is why I actually find it annoying that things like Hellhounds or CR3, because I'm like, the planes should be where you go. For higher level stuff. That stuff should be like ridiculous, but. Space Phoenix was asking, when do you decide what needs a dice roll and when you can just skip over it and say they did it? The ironclad rule I use is, does this progress the story? If it does, there's no roll. If it doesn't and it's optional, there can be a roll.
That's an interesting take.
That is I think the default
for you.
Sorry, let me rephrase.
Okay.
The default is if it progresses the story, there's no check, because otherwise you stalemate. You soft block. Outside of that,
soft block.
If it doesn't progress the story but it's optional, I think a check is good. I often will also just, as a DM, if I write lore or information or story, I really want my players to know it. So I will often be like, oh, you're a proficient in medicine? Yeah, you can tell this about the guy without needing a check necessarily, but there are certain things where it's like, no, this is some complicated information, you need to make a check for it.
What about you?
I decide, so my roll checks are almost universally person to person, with the exception of things like investigation, which is pretty, it's pretty well defined. But, so medicine check, fine, yeah, there's things, but like a lot of the time it's, do I know this about X? It's like, or like, can I do this with this person or whatever? It's like, well, I'm going to roll for them and you're going to roll for you and we're going to find out.
Yeah.
So those are always contested. Now, mind you, if they're obviously going to win the check anyways, I'll skip it. Just in general.
Yeah, there's a certain level of like, if you have a plus 13, I may just give it to you.
If you're the nature's party, if you're the party's nature buff and you've been studying and everything else and you're great at nature, it's rare I'll ask you for a check.
Yeah. Despite my improvisational ways of doing things and coming up with things on the fly, I'm opposite when it comes to my dice rolls. Meaning that you're going to get the information no matter what.
Right.
The illusion of control is that you're getting, the story is going forward with or without your dice rolls. The dice rolls, to me, are the augment as to just how much under the hood am I going to let you see for your own personal schadenfreude, humor-like stumbling. Are you going to ace that roll, get everything you need information-wise, or do the combat, or whatever the roll ends up being? The dice will tell the story, right? So you're going from point A to point B, and that's the story. How wild that story goes is dependent on the left or right swing of the dice rolls. I don't mean success or fail. Success and fail is the appropriate thing, but left or right swing. Left side wing, you're going to roll natural 20s and you're going to power your way through it, and it's going to be one hell of a tale. Yep. The right side swing is going to be, oh, you're failing, you're stumbling, it's humorous, you're going to get there eventually, but you're going to be looking worse for wear when you're on the way out. So, superheroing it, or, John McClane, how are you getting there from like Die Hard? How are you getting there? And that's how I use my dice. I use the dice to add the level of humor, or to add the level of struggle, but you're still going to make it happen. Yeah. That's how I do it.
Yeah, I mean,
there's nothing more frustrating than having a point that you need to get across to your players, and then say, make an investigation check, and they fail it, and then the logic behind the dice go,
yeah.
And then you try to make excuses for them to roll dice again.
That's exactly why I'm like, if it's something that progresses the story, I don't put it behind a check. It is information you can get.
In fairness, it does depend on what I'm running. So when I talk about campaigns that I run in general, I'm not talking about stream games or anything else. I'm talking about the sandbox games that I run. And the answer is, if somebody rolls bad, rolls terribly, and they can't convince the local whoever to give up the information, cool. There's 100 other things that you can do right now.
Oh yeah,
that door is closed. There's a million other things you can do.
I mean by like doesn't progress the story is I'm like, okay, the boss is in the secret room. They have to find the secret door. If they fail to find the secret door,
I'll let them fail that.
well, so my issue is like at that point, if they don't find the secret door, they can't do anything.
They can bust down the wall. Just takes time.
Not if they don't know it's there.
That's fine. Then they leave, and then the boss strikes them from behind. The ultimate end game.
Why would the boss do that?
The ultimate end game of there's lots of ways out of this, but the ultimate end game for the story, especially I'm talking a short order game.
Yeah.
Long-term game is different.
I always automatically default to long.
Well, this is the difference. That's why I've staged DM. It's on short order is they have to fight the boss.
Yeah, agreed.
If they can't find the magic door or the secret door on stage, or even in a stream game that I'm running on a small short order 6-episode whatever.
Yeah.
Point is, in a non-long form game, if they cannot find the secret door to find the boss to ignite the finale battle, then it's moot.
Yes.
But the ultimate thing is that they're fighting a boss.
Sure.
So whether the boss gets the drop on them or they get the drop on the boss, that's all that really matters, and to the degree in which either of them get the drop.
Yeah.
No clue about a secret door. Walking ahead, the party's going to drop their guard. And the moment they drop their guard, that's when I strike.
Yeah.
And then they find out, you hear the door sliding behind you and shit hits the fan. Whereas if they notice the door and then they start investigating it and they're too loud and kludgy about it, then it's a regular fight. But if they're really smart about how they do this, they find this as the boss's hideout, they get a drop on the boss.
I think there's nothing wrong
The
with that.
story still happens.
Yeah.
Now, in a long form game, if they don't find the boss and the boss knows that they're there, the power level of the boss and the knowledge of the boss is increasing, meaning that the danger of the party is increasing without them even being aware. And as long as you're able to keep those things metered behind the screen, that's exciting to me. This is why I'm so paranoid in these games. It's just like, if I had known the whole time that the boss was behind that wall and we didn't check it, and like 2 games later we're getting hammered because these guys have been following us, kudos. That's great.
Yeah.
Right? So it all depends on your play style.
It 100% depends a lot on whether you're talking about like an open world, long form sandbox game versus like a scenario.
And to be fair, those are great solutions. I think that those are all perfectly valid ways to handle the problem. What you cannot do is have your dungeon end in the secret room with the boss, and then if they don't find it, it's like, oh, well, I guess nothing happens, and you move on.
Oh, I do that.
Well, what I would say then is, I mean, like if you're doing a long-form sandbox game, you can't. That's a railroad tactic. That if you need them to find that boss, just
have them find the boss.
Have them find the boss.
Don't put them behind
right?
a secret door.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if it's a long-form game where you have multiple threads piping at once, that's fine.
It really does depend. There's definitely some context, but yeah, if it's a situation where, for example, it is a one-shot, and they've gotten to the end of the one-shot.
One-shots have totally different
and the
rules.
only way they can get to the end of the one-shot is to find the secret room, and you're at like a convention.
One-shots
and everyone's just like,
all about...
everybody just gets frustrated.
Look, yeah.
But yeah, if it is a full long form with
totally
multiple threads and whatever, and they just don't find it, then you can work with that.
B had put a question and then redacted it for some reason about how has role playing changed our lives, or whatever. Yeah. There's a good question because actually I just finished recording the podcast with Annalisa Fisher, and we actually talked a bit about how it improved her life. And I mean, like, the role playing in general has improved my ability to converse with people in reality, and it also allows me to pivot, real life situations on how to handle them just by improv in general. And also, I mean, role playing has excised my creative side of the brain and my critical thinking side of the brain. So,
Also, if Tom ever gives you a choice between opening one door and the other, just know there's skeletons that are going to jump out behind both doors.
Well, no, I mean, if I'm giving you the option to draw between 2 doors, there are options behind.
No, I meant in real life. If you
just skeletons in both. I have many skeletons, but I mean, like,
sometime we should have a chat about the differences between running a game where it's like you can have 2 doors and it doesn't really matter where they go because you're progressing versus writing an adventure to be published where you can't do that.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, of course. And again, like one-shots and all that, like any scenario where it has a defined climax that you have to get to, a different story. You have to do that.
I know Sam loves a defined climax.
That's right. Most of the D&D that I run, that's just not the case.
Yeah, it's very open world. And
like
whatever happens, happens.
When we run Shadowrun,
bank
you are
shot.
going to know what the end condition of the run is going to be before you start on it. If you guys bail before you get to the end condition, that's not on me.
Yeah. Yeah, when you're writing a one-shot and you have a secret room, it's usually going to be like an optional thing that'll help you improve the fight. It's generally not going to be required because you have to assume that the players may just never look.
Yeah.
And if they never look and they need to in order to win, it's like if you have the boss at the end of the dungeon and he's invincible, and the only way to kill him is with a special knife in a secret room, then as long as they have a way to learn during the fight that that's what they need to do, they can go back and now they've made it harder for themselves because they didn't find it originally. But if there's just it's like you just have to have found the room in order to know that. Otherwise, he just kills you and you can't hurt him. And it's like you're just going to have frustrated players.
The most important thing about this story is it over under? Am I winning this?
No.
And if I'm winning this, am I winning it big?
No, you're not winning it. It's roll up the rim. You can't win. It's impossible.
I got 2 coffees in my pocket.
That's not winning.
I won.
What'd you win?
A donut. Oh! Hey, you know what? That is twice now that I've done the roll up the rim at the end of or near the end of a stream, and I've won.
There you go.
Let's say I keep doing this until I get the damn.
There was
blue and yellow
one
Volkswagen
in particular that I remember. I had it set in a wizard's tower, and the party had fought through. There were some guardians and everything else, but it was easier than they expected. When they got up to the main research area, there was a mirror, and they ended up breaking the mirror. I don't even exactly remember what they did to break it, but they ended up breaking the mirror. And what they didn't know at the time was that was the access to the wizard's personal private plane. So they broke the mirror, trapped the wizard, but never got to fight him. And then later on, they learned this through one of his books. Months later, they were doing some research.
Yeah, I think the key is to the player should at least learn that there was another option. It's just that you didn't find it.
All right. Yeah. Well,
I'm always on the lookout for avoiding like incredibly frustrated, angry players because there are a lot of DMs out there who don't necessarily know how to handle that.
Yeah, I don't. The people that I play with, I don't.
That's the thing, right?
Like, I mean, again, read the room. If you're playing for strangers, you're not playing an open world sandbox.
Yeah.
Hey, Gambit.
How's it going, Gambit?
I am so excited. Tonight, when this stream is done, we are moving to our pre-recorded thing. The first episode of Tides will likely go out, but our pre-recorded show for tonight is Tome's Take! That's right! The Keymaster and Gambit!
Now we have to end the stream.
No, we can't chef.
Take it back.
In fairness, actually, we pretty much we're at
We're in
that
good
point.
form for tonight, eh? We're going to be sitting here again very soon
Hey,
in
I'll be sitting
costume,
here.
and I'll be sitting here, and we'll be annoying each other.
Yeah.
I won't be sitting
You'll be
here.
annoying me.
He'll be sitting there. I won't. I'm the only one that doesn't get to play. I'm just chopped liver. They sent me a written letter that says, "We don't like you.
Handwritten.
Please don't play."
Although I think we should,
handwritten.
In cursive.
Oh, I have an idea.
Blood.
Here's what I want to do. I want to do. Tell me what you guys would
His
like.
own.
Yeah. We should do once a quarter. We should do a 3-episode funny story arc, just like an ending, just a simple thing. Imaria All Stars, and the audience picks the characters of their famous shows that they like. They come together. So it could be like Gambit and Foley,
Oh God.
right?
We'll get nothing done.
No, Gambit and Foley, but it's literally just like Gambit and Foley,
Gambit
or
and
like
Foley have played once together.
have they?
I
I think so.
No.
I forget.
I can't even imagine what Gambit and Foley
obviously, it
would
would be Phineas, not Foley.
Yeah.
But I think, well, no, Phineas and Doverick. That would be the most
Oh
obnoxious game.
God.
Yeah.
God.
I remember when Gambit played with who was it on stage? Who was playing basically Gandalf.
Oh, it was
Oh.
Andrew Wincott, the voice of the big demon in Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Raphael.
was basically just playing
Gandalf the Off-White.
the off-white.
And then he came out as Raphael.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like,
I-
I'm Gandalf the Off-White.
I think that's great. When like Gambit's favorite interaction, I think, is when he meets other wizards who are actually like good.
Like,
Yes, but he's canonically been called the greatest wizard of all time by Elminster.
The greatest wizard he's ever seen, Elminster.
As he
Elminster
was
said
nothing
that
but a disembodied head
said that
wrapped
at
in
Game of
panties of
Thrones.
feather
That's
falling.
right, Gambit.
Game
That's right.
of Con 2023. Elminster said that Gambit was the greatest
canon.
wizard he'd ever seen.
But he's not a wizard. He's like an artificer
No, he's
or
a wizard, he's a wizard.
a cleric. I don't know what.
Actually, watch the show that's coming out I don't know when.
Well, this show is already done. We are waking. Oh my God.
Watch the new episodes. You'll find out
All right.
how wizardly I am.
Let's see here.
Beskar wants us to kill Keymaster while he lurks.
Of course he does.
We've tried that.
I'm gonna have at least one character in Shadowrun that's called the Keymaster.
Master of Keys.
A couple questions there. There was. We're now moving to the discussion on books and things. The Pillars of Power books coming along wonderfully. There's updates on the Kickstarter about that, and in about 8 days, the Imaria backer kit goes live, and we are on track to have everything done by the end of this month and sent to print.
I mean, Pillars of Power, like the text, the text is done. It's just in layout.
Yeah, it's layout. Josh is slow burning that one, but it's coming along. Everything is slated to be done by the end of this month. And how are we doing for mental health? I'm doing wonderfully. How about you guys?
I think I'm always great.
I mean, like lately, it's like knowing where all the books are and the states that they're in. Like Evil Dead has been sent for approvals. The Thundercats book is in layout. Imaria Pillars of Power is in layout. The Thundercats module book is edited and in approvals with Warner Brothers. The Collected Chronicles, and
It's doing a final edit layout pass edit format pass, as well as the Tavern of Timeless Tales is in its sort of like polishing
stages, and then they go to layout, and then everything's gonna be done by the end of the month. And we're all caught up. It goes all to print. April's gonna cost me a lot of money, but they're all gonna be printing.
Even more important than all of that, elevating I think all of our moods, is that last week I won a 7-person game of Root.
Woo! Woo! But I think I beat it with my free donut that I won, and at the same time, Marshall somewhere else in town.
I read that as Marshall just won the donut that you won.
He can't eat it. He's ketoing with me. But Marshall,
he could eat that though.
Yeah.
Like he could eat this.
Yeah, the paper doesn't have carbs.
Yeah.
And then we had a question from B.
About
question about the backer kit offer. Do you offer the Dispel dice with Liquid Core or the Metal Dragon? Both. We offer both.
Fair.
Both either.
Either or, yes and.
Yes and.
Yeah,
And then Beskar wants us to kill the Keymaster, which you said no. I said, well, I'll kill Master of Keys.
Well, the Master of Keys did die.
Yes.
Remember the Master of Keys?
Yeah, we were just rewatching that episode. Me and Austin.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Just tell them what you're doing.
We're going through and remapping out everything, and kind of rewatching everything and going back through our whole catalog and just seeing how we got from where we were to where we are now. And it is hilarious, and I highly recommend it. If you know what our characters are now, and you go back and you find out that Adam introduced his character as Jowdrad.
Yeah.
Jowdrad and Dovrik.
No E.
And I screwed it up. So basically, every character on this channel that has had the name Follied has been Follied because of me. You were originally Foley Emberbeard, like M-Beard.
Yeah,
right?
E-M Beard.
And I put it as Foley M. Beard, like his middle name was M.
Because Foley had a short beard, which was not typical for dwarves, and the reason was his great-grandmother had her beard burned off in
my
a
strange
forging accident.
dyslexia kicked in.
And so ever since, the family has worn their beards much shorter than is the fashion. So it's M beard. Yeah,
so it should be great. But I always thought it was Foley M. Beard.
Which is fine.
And that's what it is in print and shit now, so it's canonical.
Yeah.
I almost screwed up. So for
it's not like it was a huge part of my personality.
You go back.
Is Gambot, George Athos, Maryforth, Basil, Oscar Trueberry?
If you go back and watch like the first episode, the first episode of Deadliest Dungeon
was what the greatest cleric ever existed.
The internet decided it was not worth watching, and it has been destroyed from everything.
Somewhere it's got to be somewhere on the.
It's gone forever, and we all applaud that.
I would kill to see that episode.
The second episode was when I joined, and everyone had crazy voices. I think was wearing like a musketeer hat.
Yeah. Well, no, you had like your hair was all pulled back and like
Yeah, it's very strange, but very cool to see us like transition. And I think basically by the end of that season, which was with Kyle, you can still hear him now. We kind of got into our characters, and then season 2, which was led by Devin, that's when we introduced ourselves, as we now kind of always do in a build her.
You know, if we get Kyle back, we can get sponsored by Loop.
We'll have to.
Love you, Kyle.
Oh, actually,
he's probably sitting there like, I'll kill you all.
There's 4 studios down the hall. We could just have him in one of those with some conveniently placed mirrors.
We don't need a mic.
Don't need a mic.
His mic will be here.
We love you, Kyle.
So I am also, in addition to the Master of Keys, I will also have a Tib Mag, which is immortal.
Tid Mag? Yeah. That was Tid Mag.
Gambit backwards.
Oh,
Yeah.
grab the book that's inside there. We can show him now. I don't think he's seen it.
did you
I've not
see-
seen it. I'll watch the episode.
Oh, you gotta
He needs to see the reveal.
The reveal from Tom Burrs is incredible.
I just remember seeing that when I came in, and everyone was like, no.
Well, the episodes are out now. It's called Penance. Keith Baker's 4 episodes show that's up on the channel here. You just go watch the last episode just to get through.
Space Phoenix asks, and this should probably be our last question because I got to do some overlay stuff. For the new Imaria lore, is it adding things or is it also changing things from the original legacy of Mana?
Yes. There's a lot. Yes. It's. I think to quote the Tome Keeper, the versions, the difference between the versions is biblical.
The answer is yes.
Yeah.
It is
There's-
very good.
In the process of filling in a lot of gaps, there have also been a bunch of refinements.
I will
there
say,
kinda has to be.
I will say that every
Yes.
edition of the book that has come out since 2011 that I've developed or been a part of, from Pathfinder, 4th Ed, whatever,
Savage
and then
Worlds.
sorry,
Savage
Worlds, or any of the editions that I was ever built or put out. There's always been something about when the books came out where I was like, good enough, or maybe, right? Like, and it's not a matter of just lazing it out. It was just like I put it out, and I think it was kind of like, it was cool, but I always had this reservation of like, is it really its own identity? Does it feel right? Well, I've got no choice. Here it goes. This is the first time I will say in Imarian history, like any of the books to come out, that when this book goes to print, I'm like, there's nothing else we need to do to this. It is like. We only now build from here.
Yep.
And it's not a matter of like, as we're building it, we're like, man, I wish we
think
had put that in the book.
that's what I was
like,
But
gonna
I think
say.
from what I've seen, like the changes that have been made aren't necessarily like the hard facts have changed. It's more the explanations and how.
I was gonna say, yeah. Don't worry, Space Phoenix. Like, there aren't any like major retcons. It's really more like a couple of small lore details were adjusted. So, for example,
Wow. More than a couple.
well, yeah. What I mean by that
biblical
is,
doesn't mean a couple.
for example, in Legacy of Mana, it will say that the culture of this capital city is this. That has now been changed to the culture of this nation is this. There's a lot of that kind of stuff, and there's also smaller details where like this didn't make a lot of sense with the way this was described, with the way we're trying to present this, with the new kind of way things are done. So that's been removed or tweaked or changed. It's not anything like, oh, this nation is now like it was this, now it's this. Like there's really none of that.
What I was
It's-
saying more is like you have like Lunalia, the floating islands, which in the original Legacy of Mana had a little bit of what it was. That still exists.
Yep.
That whole system still exists.
It's a lot more
just
defined
flushed
now.
out and
Yeah.
defined, and what your preconceptions might have been before, based on the text that was there, those may have been corrected and changed.
So I also think more to the point of like remembering and things changing. Most of the gaps have been filled, so
Yes.
it'll probably be easier to remember things because they're more.
There was also
like before there was a lot of gaps, so you kind of had to remember all the things. Whereas
Yeah.
now they tie in a lot better. So
ties that bind.
I think that's right. The tides that bind. I think it's probably you'll have a better time remembering the new stuff because there's less like I have to remember this and I have to remember this. It's more like I just kind of remember.
Yeah.
The holistic thing.
The definitions of iOS and psionics were a big part of that.
Yeah.
The addition of like the term iOS and like really defining its rules and how it functions were a huge part of like the adjustments to the lore, and then introducing psionics and sprinkling it throughout more of the world is another kind of thing.
There
that
was
is
an
adjusting
identity issue with the Imarian world up until this book. There was a tone and a feel that people liked. If you say you like Legacy of Mana, you like Imaria. You love the tone and feel of the world. But up until this book, I've never been able to sit down and say, like, I always knew in my stomach that, like, it's a different world than Faerun or Athos or Brynnis or any of these other places. It's different. It's different. Why is it different? I don't know. I just know that it's different, right? But I could never really explain it to people. Like elevator pitch, why is this different than Ravenloft? Oh, why is this different than Mystara? Oh, there's the people with like anti-swords, anti-magic swords and shit. Like, no. Now I can sit there and be like, no. This is different and here's why. And then just, right? And then get it out there. And so when you read this book now, you know you're not in Eberron, you know you're not in Faerun, and you know that there's a difference between them. Now, there are elements like every fantasy world that connect and weave them all together, but this is a very different, and the identity of Imaria is there. And I got to thank Ed Greenwood for giving us the I would say almost like allowing us to understand that we can give ourselves the permission to call the book by the world. He was just like, you need to give it an identity by giving the book its world name. That's why everything's called Imaria. Because you're Imaria, that's the identity. Pillars of power. The whole world is about the pillars of power. It's the balance between these four incredible forces that, when weaved together, create this completely different, unidentified world that is separate from the rest of the worlds that are out there. And you cannot weave these in other worlds in the same capacity and get the same outcome. Yeah. And so it's the fact that it has an identity now, and that identity has been woven in such a way that everybody can now pick your sides, enjoy what you like of the world, play in it however you'd like, and all the different cool stuff like the flying elves and stuff all comes as part of it. So.
Yeah, and we did deep dives on the Pillars of Power in the lore chats, so they are on the channel if you want to listen to us yap about them for probably 6 or 7 hours
Something
altogether.
Like that. I mean, it's in there amongst various other.
Yeah, we'll at some
trails.
point tag them or something. But
they're
there.
Chapters and stuff. Yeah.
We gotta say goodbye though, because I got to do some stuff before we film. So and you guys have costume and everything. So
it's time to go get ready, Gambit.
Thank you so much for hanging out and chatting. We love getting questions from the viewers. That's the whole point of this.
Oh yeah.
So thank you so much, and we will see you next week.
Well, Sunday preferably, but
some
next week for
subset
sure.
of us will see you next week.
We will see you when it's Chumps Change!